can't be beat. Bomb house. You can feel it in your feet. This is bomb house. I know you feel that heat. This is bomb house. I know you feel that heat. Evala como Matias Perez. Go to the rest. Beat it so loud.
Hey guys,
What's going on?
welcome to the final episode of season 1.
Bum 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 bum.
We're gonna call this the wrap-up show,
Yeah,
and because we're gonna wrap up the season.
yeah. That
And
sounds as good a reason as any.
so, Jimmy, what did you think about the season?
Man, if I'm being honest, I came in here not really knowing what to expect.
Me neither.
We have this tagline that this podcast is all about North Carolina and life and faith and music.
A lot of taglines.
And, I think we covered all of that.
I think we did.
But more than I even anticipated. So,
Well, when we started texting each other about this idea, we knew we would have to donate some time.
sure,
There would be some effort. You have a small family.
I do.
I have a family, and we have things. But I thought it was important I had things on my mind.
Yeah.
That I thought we're at the point now that I think we can influence this area.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think if there's anything that this season has shown us, it's that Western North Carolina, particularly the pocket that we're in, the foothills, has a lot more to offer than meets the eye the first time through. So.
Yeah. I think if you're blind to the fact that there's a stereotype here, I'm going to tell you.
There is.
There very much is.
There is.
A stereotype to this area.
Yeah.
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 I can point to the decision that me and my wife, my family, made to stay here when we were done with our college.
Yeah.
We knew we wanted to raise a family here. And I knew this would be a great place to raise our family.
Right.
However, I also knew in the back of my mind, I probably would never work in this town professionally.
Yeah.
Which has proven to be true,
Yeah.
by the way. The first job really I've ever had was working for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but there's other stereotypes. Like what other stereotypes would you think?
Well, just
would be
right off the
associated?
bat, redneck. I mean,
Oh yeah.
right off the bat, redneck. I think a lot of people think that if you live anywhere west of maybe Statesville,
Yeah.
that you're starting to get into uneducated territory.
Oh yeah.
And I don't say that like a general thing. I mean most people know that there are schools, there are app states around the corner. You got tons of community
but
colleges.
that's
Western
definitely a
North Carolina.
stereotype.
But yeah,
I think, my favorite example, my wife is probably the most intelligent person I think I've ever met. She's very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
But she has that strong Southern accent.
Oh yeah.
And if you met her on the street, she's very sweet, sugary sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And, but let me tell you, she's very intelligent.
Yeah.
And her dad's
you
the same
can't go
way.
by accents.
Her dad, by the name of Rip. We call him Rip. R.I.P.
Rip.
Looks like Santa Claus. I'm not kidding.
That's awesome.
He's the same way.
Yeah.
He's got it going on. Her whole family's like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got some smarts here.
Yeah, we do. And I think we also have clearly a lot of creativity.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about this on the way over here, but I believe that this area, though there are many areas of our lives where we see where we live catching up maybe a decade or two later.
Oh yeah.
From most everywhere
I mean,
else.
what things do you think we're behind on? The first thing I can tell you is church.
Oh,
I feel like
I think there are strides being made,
Yep.
and I can attest to that from my own body,
Yep.
from the church that you're in.
Yep.
We're seeing strides made from all over the place, but yeah, by and large.
But just remember, nobody talks about that ever around here. Think about that.
Yeah. This area is really known for holding tightly to tradition.
Yeah, and we, like, one of our things here I would like to introduce in our podcast is an openness.
Yeah.
To talk about the stereotypes
Yeah.
and to talk about the things that not only are in our area, but we see in churches and we see like musically,
Yeah.
And again, it all, for us, a lot of it does come back to our faith because it's what's so ingrained
Yeah.
in our culture.
It's your foundational jumping point.
It very much so does, but church is one good example of
Yeah.
things that I see that can be a little backwards sometimes. The other is like grocery stores with like
Churches and grocery stores.
They don't have like the Hispanic aisle. They have the Mexican aisle. I'm not kidding.
Mine calls it the Latino aisle.
Yes. See,
So
but I know one store. I think this may have changed. It was just called the Mexican aisle
yeah,
for years.
or the ethnic aisle.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I see that stuff.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Or I used to.
And
Still see it.
even technology. I mean,
Oh yeah.
clearly we are using technology right now.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not the first ones to do a podcast. I mean,
no.
we're I don't want to say late to the game, but we're joining up later.
Yeah.
I
had to talk myself into it, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a ton of things that at first glance make the foothills where we are
Yeah.
look like a place that's great to raise children,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily the prime place to be at the cutting edge of anything.
So if there's anything we could look forward to in season 2 is for us to really push that boundary.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
We have established through this podcast that we have some amazing musical talent, from your band and with Michael Atkins, Benton Blount. Like we're talking like
Yeah.
we couldn't, think of two polar opposite situations currently
Yeah.
musically,
Yeah.
with what Benton's doing in the country world. And then we got Paul Cummings, who is like breaking records with the years he's been in student ministry and just
Yeah.
doing things different,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I love it.
And I think as a podcast, we should always try to push that boundary.
Yeah, like unearth.
Yeah, and
You
if we
know.
make you uncomfortable, which we probably will at some point, if you haven't been already in this podcast,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Sure.
Because I don't ever want to be complacent.
Yeah.
I always want to be surprised.
Well, I mean, you just told me that your pastor just recently said dysfunction's like
Yeah.
a Snuggie.
Yeah,
Right?
I play guitar at Elevation Church, and this past weekend he preached just one of the best sermons I think I've heard him preach in a long time. Now, when you're at a church this big, you think you've always seen it all, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, man, I thought I saw it all about a month ago, and then I heard him preach
Yeah.
this message, and that really hit home with me. How he's like we wear our dysfunction like a Snuggie, and I got to thinking about that. I was like, son of a gun,
Yeah.
because that one really hit home
Yeah.
with me.
By the way, a Snuggie is just a backwards robe without the sash.
Yeah,
right?
and mine's a Miami Dolphin themed one. By the way, mine's Miami Dolphin themed Snuggie. But when he said that, there was a lot of things personally that I thought.
Yeah.
Because man,
Yeah.
we all have issues.
Yeah.
And how that stuff sort of traps us. We gotta free ourselves. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And but also you can relate that regionally.
Oh,
There's a
absolutely.
mindset here that I think and this is it's such a general statement, but it's so true that even regionally, we can get into that behavior where it's just normal to us.
Yeah.
Whether it's in
Yeah.
our family, work, personal lives,
Yeah.
relationships, the dysfunctional.
And your creative people
Yep.
for so long
Yeah.
in like from here have constantly, and I've been one of them, have thought, I am this creative person. I can make my craft here, but I have to take it elsewhere.
Yep.
Musicians specifically, there's so many of them here, but
yeah.
so often they have to like go to another city, another town, get out of the state.
Yep.
When in reality, and this kind of goes back to technology catching up with us, but I'm trying to think of ways now. How do I make a concert happen from my home?
Yeah.
Like through the internet.
Well, you got Facebook
You
Live.
got Facebook Live, and that's
amazing.
opened up the floodgates, so to speak, for all the folks around us who have that creative bone,
So, as a podcast, we're going to commit to that. We're going to commit to trying to break some stereotypes and bring things to light that we find in our area that we're proud of.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that one of our guests is Paul Cummings, who, like, the thing that I got from his podcast really stuck to me was like how much you can tell he loves those families and those students.
Yeah. Now, he's a student minister and
a pastor.
And a pastor at Corinth Church.
And that's very unique. That's very unique. You don't see that.
Yeah.
You don't see that often. And it's a unique skill set, and it's cool to see a church that, I mean, he's been there for over 15?
I think he said 18 years.
Yeah, almost 18 years. Yeah, 18 years.
Because it coincided with his precious 18-year-old Taylor guitar getting broken.
It got...
I don't think that made it on the podcast.
No, it didn't. But
y'all be lifting him up in prayer right now.
But I think he got it replaced. But,
yeah.
That's a good example of a dude staying committed to the area.
Yeah.
And doing what he's called to do.
Yeah. And this old idea of grow where you're planted.
Yep.
Some of us have a hard time thinking maybe this area needs me to be the forerunner for that stuff. And if nothing else, this series of interviews we did just reminded me, like, I love living here. I love raising my family here, but I also, I've learned to love the area and I want to do something to better it, not just leave it to do something else. So, and if you need to leave, that's fine. I'm not trying to
guilt
anything,
trip you.
Yeah. But if you're here, there are some good things about being here.
It's just a lot of things I'll hear from young people. I just need to get out of this town, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I grew up here most of my teenage years here, and I felt the same way until I started traveling with my band.
Yeah.
And then when I started seeing other towns and meeting other people, I realized through traveling, we had a good thing. Yeah. And I always remembered that as a kid.
This place for home.
There's maturity. Yeah, there was some just maturity things I had to work through, and traveling opened up my eyes a lot to that stuff. So, which brings me to music. That, when it comes to our area, man, wow.
It's rife with it.
It's crazy. We haven't even scratched the surface.
No,
I think we can do an entire season of just songwriters from this area, which season 2, we've got some pretty cool things in store.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
But I've already contacted quite a few songwriters, and we're going to have quite a few artists from different genres of music, not rock stuff and not even Christian stuff. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, if we get half the people we're talking about,
could blow your mind.
It's gonna be an amazing season.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. So, but getting back to season 1, one thing I really enjoyed was talking to Mike.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mike is a story of somebody that you could argue was lost maybe for a little bit. Trying to figure out what he wanted to do. And to watch him sort of take a chance, go to Charlotte, move out, right, and go into something different for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then watch it turn into eventually would be full-time ministry for him. A unique path.
Yeah, absolutely, a different one, and
unique.
But a flourishing one.
Yeah, and man, he's I see such a high ceiling.
Oh, sure. Him. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's one of those that you kind of benchmark his life in graduations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his potential is stupid. It literally is crazy.
Yeah.
How what I see in his future. I just think just musically his talent, but there's a lot more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I really don't know anything, and I'm his brother. I don't know a whole lot that he can't do really well.
Yeah. Does it make you hate him at all? Jealous or anything?
No,
Maybe when he was kissing on the ex-girlfriends or anything.
well, when he was kissing the ex-girlfriends, I didn't know about it when it was happening. I knew about it years later. Years later, when I was totally happy that wasn't even happening anymore.
But seriously,
I only say that because we bring that up because he's my brother. So.
Yeah, I know. We're just joking around, Mike. We love you.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about talent that's from this area that couldn't stay. He's a good example of one that it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. And he definitely had a path leading away from here. But the thing that we're focusing on is that his roots were here.
Yep.
And that alone should tell us something.
Absolutely.
That it's not all bringing talent from outside in. Sometimes it grows here and then goes and blesses someone else. So.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then, we also had some entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
On the season. Brian Drake.
Brian Drake from Mountain Burrito.
That dude is awesome.
We should name Mountain Burrito a town.
I learned so much from that episode.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
The whole the curves business stuff
who'd have thunk it, right?
I would have never thought of that in a million years, but the way he talked about his employees, right? And he was so passionate about like the community aspect.
Yeah. It gives us and we hear this said a lot, but it gives a community treasure. It's something that I don't even think it's just Morganton. I think it's the Tri-County area that we're in is really proud of what he's accomplished with that restaurant.
Yeah, man. Now, and I mean, just talking about the metalwork stuff.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he made and built, and his friends help him build that restaurant.
Yeah.
It brings a whole new aspect. And I go every day.
Yeah.
And it really opened up my eyes to what I was looking at while I was in there.
Yeah.
And how cool was it that the day we record his podcast, he pays off the final debt.
Oh man, that is crazy.
It's like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, I get anytime somebody comes free from debt, I want to
that's
go
a win.
Dance in the street. I get excited about that.
That's a huge win, and for him to say that on our podcast, that was pretty neat. And just to let you all know, Brian is typically pretty guarded.
Yeah.
About that stuff, he doesn't really advertise much. And I was really thankful that he would come and sit down and talk to us.
Yeah. We had to coax him with some Cubano coffee.
Yeah, we did. And I think he learned that Cuban coffee is very stout.
Super stout.
Well,
he grew a beard while we were in here.
I think, forget Red Bull, man.
Yeah.
We hooked him up with some Bustelo. But again, I think it takes a guy like that to sort of break some stereotypes in this area.
Yeah.
Because maybe about the time he started Mountain Burrito, we started seeing some newer restaurants come into our town and our area, and some of them stayed and some of them did not stay, or some of them have changed and over the years. And I think it's cool that he, being in the restaurant business to him, he was like, nah, man, I'm not going to go work for somebody else.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it myself.
Sure. Yeah.
And his what was his degree in? Parks and Recreation or something?
Yeah, he said he spent a lot of the time
outside.
That
is crazy.
And his passion, we found out,
metalwork.
Is metalwork with iron.
Yeah.
So if you come to Mountain Burrito, a lot of the signage is metal, and he made it.
Well, I think it's cool.
Crazy cool.
I think it's cool, that this dude with not a huge restaurant background, he worked at them just to make ends meet part time.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then he decides to open this place up, and it's become the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said he actually told us that was it 99% of anybody who's heard of him is because of someone else. It's not because of an ad.
Yeah.
So what I love about that, you said you started noticing other companies and businesses sprouting up after him.
Oh, yeah.
So this should be like an encouragement to those of you listening that might have some kind of business idea. You know, I run a beard oil company, and I got inspired big time by listening to this guy. So if you have an idea, go ahead and throw it out there. You don't know how much more support you're going to get and give from other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, man. I mean, he obviously put in the work. The work was hard, and then, you know, and we talked about the down period, right? When he tried to expand to Lenore. He tried that for a year. Yeah. It got him. Like, it was tough. Yeah. It was tough, and he learned a lot from that. And there's a lot we can take in from that. Yeah. I think, as just personally as people. And if you're in business and you're in leadership, wherever you're at, you know, there's going to be seasons of that kind of stuff.
And try not to stretch yourself too thin. You know, I think one of my favorite things he actually said was, if you have to rely so much on your outward advertising, but you're not making ends meet as a business, maybe go back to how much salt you're putting into the food.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, start very, very small and only take on what you can, and don't jump ahead of the cart.
There's a lot to say for what he's done, and it's been neat to watch that grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and man, talk about a future for him. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be neat.
I'm excited,
be neat,
man.
And I think we said this almost every podcast, but we really do want a lot of our guests back. Yeah, because we want to keep up. Yeah, you know, we want to keep up and see where everybody's at.
Yeah, well, it is a podcast about tacos too.
Yeah, so man, like taco taste will change. Yeah, and we need to know. Yeah, so let's talk about arguably. I think this will be the longest episode, but I learned. Let me tell you, Benton Blount blew me away.
Man, the dude can tell some stories.
The dude, wow. Yeah. Like, now I've known Benton a long time, and we have been good friends for a long time. We have had, I was always the one that would stay up late with him when he would have to, you know, we would drive back from these long shows. Like, my job was to keep him awake. I would never drive that colossal thing, but he loved it. Yeah. And, you know, so we developed a good rapport over the years, but man, oh man. I think, number one, we could have gone another hour with him. Easily. And there was so much in that podcast. Like, I remember thinking after we were done recording it, I was like, I literally felt like I couldn't digest it all. Yeah. And that is a guy that doesn't have a fake bone in his body. Yeah. Period. Yeah. Like,
and you don't meet people like that often, and you meet even fewer. Yes. That are like that, who are at the level of his career that he is.
Oh yeah, you know? And absolutely. And he, I think my favorite things I got from that podcast, and the things I learned were how he views taking care of his career, like his business part of his career. Yeah. Super hands-on. Mm-hmm. Like, that dude doesn't let anything... It's similar to Brian Drake. Right? Yeah. Like, Brian from Mountain Burrito, super hands-on. Yeah. And we see those same traits with Benton. Yep. Super hands-on. You know, and another thing I noticed, and this is something that reoccurred over the season, you know, we always joked about, you know, not being a douchebag and a musician. Yeah. Right? Just get along with your team. Right?
Be sweet. Yeah.
And the same thing applies on that side of the world. Yeah, it does. And that side of music. Mm-hmm. You know, that was another thing that popped up. Like, he wants good guys. Mm-hmm. You know,
and it just so happened all the good guys that helped him with his record. Yeah. Weren't they from a band that was like super inspiring to him as a young musician?
Oh yeah, Edwin McCain's band. Yeah, that was something that blew my mind.
Like, the kindest guys he had met in the industry to date. Yeah. And they were just like, yeah, let's play, man. Let's do it.
It did his record. That's crazy when you think about that.
I'd be fangirling out the whole time. Oh, totally.
I don't even know how it'd function. Yeah. And then something else he brought up that was interesting was the West Coast musician thing versus the Nashville cats. Yeah. Now, let me say, if you're in Nashville working as a musician, you're crushing it. Period. You're killing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's a skill level there that's unbelievable. But it was fun listening to him talk about how the West Coast guys were.
Yeah.
On his last few records or his last few songs, and that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, those guys practically, everybody has like this pie in the sky idea. Man, like studio musicians get paid like big bucks, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like hundreds of dollars a song.
Yeah.
To come play drums on a record. Well, from what I understand, those dudes hardly did it for like anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that.
They were in it mostly for the love.
Yeah,
of the,
just
of
to help
the
them out.
craft.
Yeah, just to help them out. And I have a lot of guys that come in here that are like that. That just want to be here and contribute and help. And I always try to give them something.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care. It's important to me that something, gets given, even lunch or something. But I found that interesting.
Well,
right?
and you kept pointing out that Benton never stopped.
Oh no!
Like if we can stress anything, yes, the podcast is about unearthing the talent of the lifestyles and all the kinds of crazy creative people that are here, but the people that end up being found from this area tend to be those who have perseverance. And he, Benton, I don't know that I've ever known him while he was not doing what he's doing.
No, I mean, he once he committed to it, he did it.
Yeah, just getting it, man.
Yeah, he did it. And
from Valdez,
that's crazy.
He wasn't
homegrown.
He's definitely a story of somebody who does not let where they come from dictate where they're going.
Listen, what about his wife's pimp hand?
The strongest in the land.
I believe Benton's wife's pimp hand is very strong.
Very strong.
We did learn that.
We did.
I love that.
And we're on the good side of that.
Yes, we are. We will stay that way,
because
Ashley.
he got to come hang out with us.
Don't worry, Ashley. We will always be on your side.
Yeah.
Always. So, let's talk about season 2. Like, is there anything that you would like us to, like, I know there's things I want to improve already, production-wise. I have some ideas, but what are your thoughts about season 2 and this whole process?
Oh, dude, I think this first season, I spent most of the time with each of our guests just listening. Like I was kind of taken in by what stories they had to offer. And I love stories anyway, man. That's kind of my bread and butter. But for season 2, I'm looking.
You talked about research.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to researching a little bit more of who our guests are. Maybe giving more of an insider look to folks who don't know them because somebody else that they know knows them. Yeah. So, but on the flip side of that coin, I think it's really cool that we're looking into inviting people in for an interview that, I don't know, it just makes the world smaller in a good way. Like, that whole 6 degrees thing where Tom Petty because
like the Kevin Bacon thing.
Yeah,
remember
the Kevin everybody knows Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that was what I remember.
So
everybody's related to Kevin Bacon.
That's the idea. Like you had mentioned somebody that we're reaching out to, and if we land them, I will freak out because of who they're connected to.
You sort of fangirled over that.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed. Like, I still am a fan. I'm a fan of people.
Well,
so
that's another thing. Like, I had to convince myself to do this. This is not something that I just woke up one day and I was just like, boom, we're gonna do this.
Right.
I number one, I don't do things that way. My time is limited. I really do want to focus on the studio, music, and my family.
Yeah.
Those are my main things. However, I know you were bashing on this on your social media recently about being influencers?
Oh,
right. What did you post?
I get liked all the time, especially
by certain influencers,
by people whose the first word in their Instagram bio is influencer.
That's funny. Well,
Or international influencer.
so we're gonna. I'm just gonna tag us like that right now. Hashtag influencer. But and it's not like we're special.
No.
I'm not special
No.
at all. I think.
Well, you are to me.
Well, friendship wise. But what I'm saying is, like, I've been here a long time,
Right.
And there's like, I've gotten to meet some amazing people over the years, and that I don't want the world to ever be so big that I can't keep up with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's those relationships are important to me because I did realize that the relationship, for example, me and you share, will always be more important than any of the music we create together.
That's correct.
Period.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always approached things over the years.
Yeah.
My clients are not just clients. 99.8% of them are friends.
Yeah.
And because of that, I have a lot of good relationships.
Yeah.
They have such interesting stories.
Yeah, they do.
And
everybody does.
yeah, man, and it's important. It's important to get that out. And even, if we can grow this podcast and grow it just grow it to get the word out on independent artists.
Yeah.
Or, there could be that family looking for a home church that may connect with somebody that we bring in on this podcast. Or we may bring in a songwriter that works on some songs that that people connect with. That is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That is worth it to me. But going back to the influencer thing, we are that in a way.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's not. It's just, I feel like it's because of longevity and just good relationships.
Yeah, experience with people.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
these are cool folks who are doing cool things,
Yep.
and we think that the people at least immediately close to us would benefit from knowing about them.
Exactly. And if we can grow that and shed the positive light and break some of the stereotypes on this area, that's just like that's the best thing I can hope for.
Yeah, man.
Because we're not trying to turn this into something huge. We do want to get the word out, but at the same time, if I could help, if we can help, Brian Drake, who this dude has the most amazing business.
He does.
If one person has never been to his establishment, his restaurant, and go, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just listened to these guys talk for over an hour about food in this amazing place. I need to go visit. I
Yeah.
think it's worth it to me.
Yeah.
So for the future, though, I have some cool ideas. I think we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to change things up
Yeah.
every season.
Yeah.
Like I want to challenge us a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
So, we've got some things we're working on, but at the same time, will be very similar. There's some pastors we've already contacted from very different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And we're not talking just modern churches. We're talking
Right.
more traditional churches.
Yeah, we want to do like for lack of a better term, like several brands.
Exactly.
Of everything.
And then on the music side, same way.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And then on the business side, I can tell you already now that he's already committed. A good friend of mine, Chip Latham, will be on, and he has a long, storied career in the music business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking incredibly long,
Yeah.
and he's gonna drop some huge information bombs. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Didn't he? Manage somebody?
Some small people.
Hootie. And the Blowfish, right?
Yeah, and he's still involved with them.
Yeah.
And Darius and. I think it got to start with Rod Stewart. I think I'm not sure.
That we are name dropping because name dropping is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, once we get him in here and we can pick his brain a bit, he's going to blow our minds.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and Chip is a guy that loves what he does and does not have like any mean intentions.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And that's the kind of guy you want helping your band.
Yeah.
Or helping your team.
Yep.
And he's got a lot of wisdom to offer.
Yeah.
And he's a Panthers fan, and I like that.
Try to throw some of that wisdom out to people around here.
So that's just one example of the kind of people we want to bring. These are good people.
Yeah.
And we have quite a bit more.
I'm excited. My head is racing with people that I want.
Boom.
I want to ask questions.
We're gonna do it. But I'd like the geek side of me, right? The guitar player side of me wants to get some guitar players on.
Oh, heck yeah. Man.
There is a good friend of mine that plays bass. He's already committed to coming in, and I'm excited about having him on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give that away either, but, this is a guy that's touring. He's on the road. He is busy. He worked at it. He didn't just wake up one day with, sounding like Geddy Lee. Right, he just didn't wake up one day, And another guy that came from this area that is gone on to great things, So again, we're gonna have a lot of that, right? So and we want your feedback, right? We want people's feedback.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there is a question that you want covered by a particular type of person, or if there's a particular person that you have in mind that maybe we could reach out to.
We'd love to.
Yeah, just leave us a comment on Facebook or contact us through
I can tell you personally,
website.
If it always helps if we know them, right? If we know them.
Sure,
but
we
don't, even if I don't personally know them, that could be a fantastic interview.
Right.
Because we can just find out so much in here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good things in the works, but as a podcast, every season will probably be a little different.
Sure.
And that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, man.
So when it gets to the feedback and all that good stuff, and I want to know it all.
We do want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Because if we can improve something, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We have thick skin, right?
Yeah.
We can handle it. So
mine's pale, but it is thick.
True. Mine's a weird shade because I don't go outside a lot. Got a lot of tattoos.
I can't, man. This early spring we're getting already. I know the sun is just waiting for me to walk out.
My excuse to be so not tanned is I put sunblock all over my tattoos.
Oh yeah. Well, my excuse is I was just born with, I don't know. My skin turns into bacon upon contact.
There you go. But we do want your feedback, and we do appreciate your time. So far, just the word we've put out on Facebook, we've heard some really positive things.
We've been really encouraged by
absolutely.
the excitement that people have that we're even doing this.
Yeah,
thing.
This is crazy. I did not know. Yeah. I saw some of y'all's comments. I was like, well, man.
Some are like, all right, I can't wait for this, and that's great. But then somebody said, this is going to be a really important one. And I'm like, uh-oh, the pressure's on now.
The pressure. They're going to be so let down. And that's another thing. There's a good chance some people may be disappointed.
Yeah, probably.
In my opinions.
There is.
They're like, boy, Ricky uses the word doo-doo butts a lot.
Yeah.
What the heck is up with that?
Just keep in mind that,
we are human.
We're trying to have a conversation as if you're just sitting at our lunch
Exactly.
table.
So it's live. We're not, the only thing I think we've agreed to edit are some bad words because we don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, we want to keep it family friendly.
And we're not trying to be like hipster Christian cuss word dudes.
No.
I don't, when I cuss, it comes from a real place. Just know that, okay? I'm not cussing to impress.
When Ricky cusses, he means to cuss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. King James cuss words. Those are the only words.
The ones from the Bible.
That's it, baby.
From that translation.
But, so by the way, I've already been invited to be on another local podcast, by the way.
Right on.
Yeah, that happened, I think, this past week. So, and I'm excited about doing it.
Yeah, man.
I think it'd be fun. Be a good way to promote what we're doing. And we're doing such, that's another thing. I want to be very supportive of anybody that's doing this.
Yeah.
We have some friends that do this, and our intention to do this is not to promote. We're not making anything off of this. Mm-hmm. And in the future, if that ever happens, it's just going to go back into like video editors There's been a lot of
making it
favors.
better.
That reminds me, there's been a few key people that have really helped this podcast. You know, it hasn't just been me and you. There's a dude named Aaron Polk from Grace Church in Hickory, North Carolina. He does a lot of like design work.
Yeah.
And he helped us out with our logo, our branding this season. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I yelled at him this week because he has no contact information.
Well, he's there.
I was like,
he's a real person.
I was like, dude, like, you need like an email or a website with example work. So if you're listening to this, I'm yelling at you, please, for the love of God, have something so I can tell people.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Dale is going to help us this season.
Yeah, man.
And shout out to him. Excellent photographer. Him and his wife do crazy talented work.
Yep.
And, you know, there's a team that goes into doing this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyway, any thoughts before we wrap this up, Jimbo?
I'm just excited to be part of something that lets me sit and hang with my best friend in a studio where I do all of my music. I mean, that's rad. So, and if we can definitely, if we can help other people not only know about these amazing guests and what this area has to offer, but also encourage them to get out and make it even better.
Yeah.
Man. That's, you know, a big win for me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I do, you're always going to hear us come from a place of encouragement.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know, if you hear me cracking jokes about stuff, you know, whether it's music stuff or church stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of it does come from a place of like, yeah, I've been there and done that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then some of it's just totally in jest. Like it's just, I'm just poking fun and trust me, I make fun of myself a lot.
Yeah.
God.
It's true. It's
true. Dear Lord, I get myself, oh my God, I say some of the, there could be a whole podcast of my wife, of stories of my wife elbowing me in the side with things that I've said. And she's like, baby.
Oh man.
What were you, oh, well, you know.
Well, I tell you, in our final moments here of the season, the reason that we call this welcome to the podcast, we would say welcome to the Bomb House.
This is live.
Is because this is exactly how it is here.
Exactly.
You know, if we had more people sitting on that couch, it'd be the same way.
If you come hang at the studio, very rarely do we just walk in and start working.
Nah,
ever.
No.
We shoot the crap.
For a while.
Yeah, we talk. We're like, man, did you check out such and such Netflix show? Yeah, we're always and that's sort of the vibe.
And it makes the experience making music or making podcasts or whatever just that much easier. When it comes
man.
time.
Like I listen. You know, I touched on this in the past, but you know, I focus on such minute details. You know, when we're recording and I'm listening to everything. Yeah, multitasking, doing all this stuff, and this is like, you know, doing the podcast, we get to exercise a different muscle. Mm-hmm. And you know, I've learned something about every guest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
And I think every guest has left, like, super happy.
Yeah.
Super pumped.
Yeah.
So, and, but, you know, for the future, for season 2, you know, we got to get through this season. We're going to get it edited, and we're going to make it sound nice. Mm-hmm. Boy, that intro song.
Oh,
dope.
Got some local talent.
So let's talk about the intro song.
Yeah, let's.
The two people that helped put that song together, Jason Singleton. He's my studio drummer, did the beat, and then BJ Bowman. We call him Billy James. That's his performance artist name, Billy James.
Yeah.
But check Billy James out on Facebook. He does hip hop, does rap.
Yeah.
From the Christian side of things, and he's gonna be a guest.
I actually sold some beard oil to his brother-in-law today, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you know Ricky."
I let you listen to that track he laid down.
Yeah.
Right for the intro.
Yeah.
And he killed it.
He did.
He did great, man.
He did
great. I got inspired. I saw Black Panther, the movie, 2 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the soundtrack of that movie was so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, what they did in that movie was fantastic. And I texted Jason. So I was like, Jason, can you give me something that has that kind of vibe for the intro of the podcast? Because, first of all, like, do people really associate that style of music with me? And the answer is no. Not in a million years.
But now
now they're going to turn on this podcast and they're going to hear this sick beat.
Yeah.
And they're going to hear Billy James crush it.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Like, we're just doing different stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know, and I think it's fun, and I do appreciate those guys for helping us. Again, they're a part of our team, part of our family.
Very homegrown.
Oh, absolutely. We'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
But so, again, get your feedback to us.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, it's important. bombhousepodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
Find us on Facebook. We're not advertising this stuff. We repeat it every episode. It's because we want your feedback.
Yeah.
The only person I really want you to support is Jimmy.
Oh, snap. Well, I'd also say we're on Instagram, too. The podcast is on Instagram. So
we're slowly getting all that stuff going.
Yeah.
We're gonna slowly get it up and going, and you'll see periods of inactivity. Our plan is to promote, every episode, and we'll be doing that for about the next month and a half.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a little bit after, and then we'll probably chill out for a little bit, and we'll probably update, let you know what we're doing for season 2.
Sure.
And but listen, we're soaring. We didn't have a plan. We had a loose plan going into this one.
Yeah.
I think we have a better idea for season 2, what we want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, so where can everybody find you, Jim?
If you want some music and you want some poetry and you want some sweet goodness, JimmyAtkinsMusic.com. If you want beard oil and pretty soon some products for ladies.
Oh gosh, if this wasn't such a G-rated podcast, I would tell them that story about that review.
Oh no.
We can't mention.
All I'm gonna say is RuddyManBeard.com can help your marriage.
Yes,
that's all I'm gonna say.
In a very good way, dude.
So
that's all.
If you
maybe
have,
privately we can tell that story.
If you contact us in
privately,
maybe
we can
Facebook
send you
Messenger
a screenshot
or something.
of that review. That's the best thing I've ever read.
But yeah, if you have any facial hair, I can help you make that stuff look, feel, and smell the best it ever has.
Didn't my wife buy some stuff from you recently?
Yeah,
from your wife.
Yeah, my wife does some wonderful word art.
Yeah.
And you can find
her. You
her.
guys are doing trade shows and craft shows all the time, right?
Yeah, and she's rootsandraindesigns.com.
Work it. You got to work it.
And you got to, man.
You got to work it.
It's all grown here in this area. So.
Yep. And then as for me, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Ricky Rodriguez or at Instagram at Ricky Rod. Again, we're not doing this for promotion stuff, just for on my end, for me.
Yeah.
It's not for promotion. It's just, if you have a question, you want to hit me up with anything, I will reply as fast as possible.
Yeah, man.
But we do love y'all. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you in season 2. Cue the really cool rap.
See ya.
Boom.
We love tacos, so let Ricky do his thing pronto. Finish the session today, he gon' hit you with the mix tomorrow. Produce, record, mix, master it. Sounding so dope that it gets your pass a lit. Hit after hit after hit after hit. Hit after hit, lickety split. What's that smell? Apple cinnamon. Ready man big, got it from Jimmy Jam. Grab the pen again, let me hear it back again. 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 Yeah, let me hear it back again.